Um, And we're live. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to It's Not Rocket Science with uh, 5 questions over coffee. I almost forgot what I did then for a moment. It's been a trying morning, everyone. So just excuse me. I'm here with Michela. Michela is an international business growth coach. She's an award-winning strategist. She's got an Amazon best-selling book. She's a speaker, Forbes Coach Council member, and she's the training director at Women's Speakers Association. Now, I think this is going to be a brilliant conversation because I think Michela's got some fantastic stuff to talk about. Really enjoy some of the things we've just discussed. So, hi, welcome to 5 questions over coffee. I hope you've got your coffee with you, Michela. Hello.
Hello, Stuart. I have my coffee with me and I am ready to go.
That's very good to hear. So let's start off with what is the biggest challenge your ideal client faces?
So, Stuart, I work primarily with business owners directly, CEOs, service professionals, those who really want to grow and scale a multiple 6 or 7 figure business. And what I have learned over the years, in my own coaching and consulting practice for the last 10 years, there's been lots of patterns that have come up. And the main ones are they're wearing all the hats and they're trying to do all the things. And they're actually being the chief of everything instead of the CEO of the business. They're being the business instead of running the business. And they're finding themselves, and I know you can relate to this with the people that you work with as well. They're stuck in the day-to-day, operations of the business. And it's like that, they're running on the wheel and can't get off. That's what I'm noticing.
Such a common problem, Michela. And we can and we probably will talk for many hours about this. But so, what's the mistake that people in that situation find themselves trying to solve without getting help?
They think that working harder, longer hours will help them get ahead. But it's really about working smarter, not harder, because as you know, we all have the same number of hours during the day. And so, they're spending way too much time dealing with, being pulled in to the minute meetings or, the fires that they have to put out, really reactive. Instead of responding and being more intentional. What I find is that reacting to what's coming at you is not going to help you move your business forward. It's really about the commitment to working on the business. And that's one of the mistakes that I see that leaders with all good intentions, right, is they don't carve out enough time into their schedule to work on the business because they are getting pulled into working in the business too much. So that's the biggest challenge, mistake when they're trying to solve a problem on their own. And so, as a business coach, there are 3 things that I bring to the table as an example of how to help. That is the clarity, accountability, and objectivity, because I don't work in your business, but I'll always work on it with you. And that's the thing, is having somebody to support you in that effort will actually help you move forward at an accelerated and with more ease. Because let's be honest, you're in the forest looking through the trees, and an outside perspective is looking into the business. And so that expert perspective is really what's required, I believe.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I often find too many business owners they don't know that they're working in the business because they're so busy. They can't see the fact that they could do with taking that step back. And I've likened it so many times to what I call the path of least resistance. Too many business owners take the path of least resistance, not because they don't want the help, but because they just don't have the time to think through, how would I get rid of this? Or isn't there somebody else that could do this for me? They keep it and they try and do it themselves. And it ends up adding to their burden and their stress. And as you say, people then come to them and go, well, nobody else knows how to do this. We'll take it to the boss. And the boss ends up doing something that's a $1 task when they could be doing only $100 an hour tasks. And they really should get rid of some of those. And that's part of looking around and thinking to themselves, how do I manage to make this business move forward if I wasn't in it? And they aren't in it. They can't do it.
Exactly. And they become that bottleneck, right,
Because,
Stuart? They're the bottleneck, they're the stopgap. And so they're really then unbeknownst to them, become the hindrance to the growth.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's super risky, because then what can start to happen there is employee attrition, or just breakdowns in the systems, in the operations, poor customer service, all sorts of things can happen.
So many problems that they cause, that the unintended consequence of trying to sort of do the best thing. So go on, let's get into your valuable free action, which I can almost hear is going to be the valuable free action. What's the valuable free action, a valuable free resource, Michela, that you would recommend to the audience?
So my recommendation is that if you want to take your business to the next level of profitability and growth in a sustainable way, of course, sustainability is key. You need to make that commitment to grow and strengthen your company. And the key there is to focus on constant incremental improvement over time. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And so this is where you commit as a business owner, as the leader, to dedicating, carving out, blocking it in your calendar 1 to 2 hours per week to have a meeting with yourself, to solely focus on improving one area within the company. And each week, as an example, you could focus on one key impact area. And so there are 6 key impact areas that I invite you to take a look at in your business. And you can also pull in key team members. You can workshop this stuff together. And so there's 6 areas. These are the impact areas that have a direct impact on the bottom line: employees, products and selling, sales and sales team training, customers or clients, marketing, and of course, time management.
Great. Love it. And folks, if I could just extend Michela's invitation to you to take that time. I find the most useful thing in my business is when I get up, the first thing I do is I don't read my emails. I spend that first hour of the day on thinking about my business and thinking about, my own personal development. Do not start your day with email. It will wreck the rest of your morning. You so quickly get dragged in. So guys, take 1 hour at the beginning of your day and think about the stuff that Michela's just highlighted. So Michela, what is the concept, the book, the program, the talk, the thing that's been most impactful in your experience that you want to share with the audience?
Oh, Stuart, there have been so many things, as you know, and I know we talked about this earlier. Our personal growth and personal development is always should always be at the top of our list as a leader. And so the thing I want to focus on today is this notion around, we've all heard it before, know thyself. Is really about knowing yourself best. So, and this can be done through, and this is done over time, personality profiling, behavioral assessments, values-based assessments, to really understand who you are. What are your values? What drives you? What motivates you? What's your communication style? Really understanding who you are as a person, what type of leader you are, is crucial to your ability to not only lead effectively. I like to also say lead yourself, self-leadership, as well as leadership of your team. Better communication, better harmony within your relationships within the workplace, ability to just really cast a vision for your team. So many upsides, but also so that you can play to your strengths. I know a lot of the times we feel like we have to be everything. And really, it's about understanding who you are and letting yourself off the hook for thinking that you need to be somebody that you're not. If you discover that you're an introvert, own that. understand what that genius is within that you can bring to the table. And then you can hire, or you can partner, or you can collaborate for the gaps inside your leadership, because we all have leadership gaps, all of us. It doesn't matter how much work we're doing on ourselves and how successful we are, there's always a leadership gap, and it's an evolution that happens. And so, for example, if you're a visionary, fast-paced action taker, so most entrepreneurs are the action takers, and they are people. So they're people first, and they're action, people and action. And so a good pairing to that is somebody who's more of a blueprint or a strategist, so that the action taker is going to be, shiny objects, right? Oh, we got this new thing, new idea, new market, new product. Let's try something new. Let's go this way. Let's move without planning. So that planner can come in and support you. It's about supporting yourself well, but first knowing who you are, and then what are those gaps, or what are those, I like to call them growth edges rather than weaknesses.
Yeah, I like that phrase, actually, Michela. And once again, I think we talked about this just before we started. I once again absolutely buy into what you're saying there. A couple of things that I've just discovered in my own development recently. I know that I'm trying to learn better how other people perceive what I'm communicating. Such another great thing that you've got to develop is an understanding of how you communicate. Because if you think about it, communication is what the listener does or the receiver does. If you think you've fired off an email and that's your job done, but they haven't understood it and haven't acted on it, you've failed to communicate. So learn that one. And the other thing that I was saying to Michela, I know, for instance, around me, I'm not one of those people that completes a job. I'm always off doing the shiny new thing. So find something on your team that will actually make sure that jobs get done, because otherwise customers get a little bit upset when something doesn't actually get delivered. And that's kind of a really key thing, going back to one of your six areas to work on. Make sure that customers actually get what they ask for occasionally, because it does actually help the bottom line. Michela, it leaves just one question that I've got on my list, which I think is going to be an interesting one. And that's the one where I say, what's the one question you think I should have asked you? And of course, if you wouldn't mind actually answering it as well, that always helps the audience.
Excellent. Thank you, Stuart. So the question is, what are the 3 keys for profitable and sustainable business growth for growing companies, for growth stage companies? So the 3 keys, I would say, are mindset, strategy, and ability to implement. So let me explain a little bit further. So if the skill set of the business owner or the leader is not up to speed with the growth of the company, what happens is the company is at risk. And we talked about this earlier in our conversation, but it could be very grave. It could be at risk of going out of business, or downsizing, or derailment, missing opportunities, leaving huge gaps or money on the table, a lot of risks. So you have to develop your skills and mindset of a leader to keep at pace with company growth. It's not just about growth, as we mentioned earlier, it's about sustained growth. So when a business ends up growing too fast and faster than the business owner's ability to lead and manage the company, this is where you need to make sure that you're working on yourself as a leader. Because as you know, leaders have a great responsibility, right? You're responsible for establishing the company's vision and direction, and then breaking that down into the building blocks of strategies and tactics that will get you there. That much you can control. Where you lose control and where you become most vulnerable as a leader is in that execution, in that implementation phase, right? And that's the variable I find that keeps CEOs up at night. Does the organization have the capacity to deliver on the plan, right? And so successful execution is really predicated on having the right people in the right roles, focused on the right things. And so again, this is where outside expertise, whether it's a business growth coach, business consultant, et cetera, can help you stay focused and accountable to the plan while offering that expertise and perspective and objectivity, so that you can grow and scale with focus, clarity, confidence, and really stepping into your capacity as a leader, as your company at pace with your company growth.
Brilliant. Michela, it's been a brilliant discussion. Thank you so much. Appreciate taking the time today to talk to us. Guys, if you'd like to hear more of this sort of stuff, you could subscribe to our newsletter and you'll get notification of when we're going to be doing interviews with really interesting people like Michela. And you'll be able to be notified of this and can participate live. You can get that by going to tca.fyi. That's tca.fyi/subscribe. tca.fyi/subscribe. Look out for Michela on the net. Michela, where can people find out more about you?
You can find out more about me through my website, michelaquilici.com, michelaquilici.com. Through there, all my social links and everything, you can find those there. Brilliant.
I'm so glad you spelled that for me and I didn't have to do that job. Thank you very much indeed. Michela, it's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today. Really appreciate it. Folks, watch out for more of what we're going to do here on It's Not Rocket Science 5 questions over coffee. Didn't have the coffee today, it's a bit warm, so I've got what isn't actually coffee in front of me, but there you go. All right. Thank you very much indeed, Michela. Appreciate your time very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, Stuart.
No problem.
Take care.